There is a reason most people never taste real wealth. Not the kind of wealth you flash on social media, but the kind that comes from knowing your mind, owning your path, and becoming unstoppable in your pursuit of purpose. You want the truth? You will never be rich until you master this. The war within yourself. Because the battlefield isn't the economy. It isn't your competition. It isn't the government, your job, your parents, your past, or your education. It's you. The real enemy is the part of you that quits when it gets hard. The part that scrolls while others are building. The part that waits to feel motivated while others are mastering discipline. Until you conquer that part of yourself, wealth will remain a dream you watch others live. Henry Ford was once laughed out of a room for proposing the idea of a V8 engine. His engineers told him it was impossible. He told them, build it anyway. He mastered belief, not in the world, but in himself. He knew that every empire, every fortune, every revolution in history started with one person who refused to back down. So ask yourself, what would your life look like if you stopped negotiating with your limitations? We live in a world where people celebrate distractions, where dopamine is more accessible than discipline, where we worship comfort, and then wonder why we're broke, spiritually, mentally, financially. But comfort is a trap. It promises safety, but robs you of greatness. Because the path to wealth, true wealth, is lined with discomfort, sacrifice, and relentless focus. You think the top 1% got there by luck? By chance? Number. They got there because they did what others were unwilling to do. For years, they mastered the boring. They mastered the early mornings. They mastered the rejection. And most importantly, they mastered themselves. Andrew Carnegie once said, any idea that is held in the mind, that is emphasized, that is either feared or revered, will begin to clothe itself in the most convenient and appropriate form available. That's not poetry. That's instruction. You become what you dwell on. If you think like a victim, your life will look like a tragedy. If you think like a creator, your life will reflect creation. And if you think like the wealthy, you will begin to attract and build wealth. But here's the catch. Thinking is not enough. It starts with the mind, yes, but it must live in action. Not once, not twice, daily, ruthlessly, without apology. Do you know what separates the dreamers from the doers? It's not luck. It's not intelligence. It's not connections. It's clarity. Clarity is a weapon in a world addicted to noise. When you are clear on what you want, everything changes. Your days have direction. Your focus becomes lethal. You stop asking for permission. You stop wasting energy explaining yourself to people who will never understand your hunger. Most people want wealth. Few are willing to define it. Even fewer are willing to suffer for it. And almost none are willing to become the person required to handle it. Look at Thomas Edison. 10,000 failed attempts before the light bulb. Did he have failures? Or did he just refuse to quit long enough for the invention to reveal itself? That's what it means to live with vision. To hold an idea so tightly in your mind that even failure begins to look like progress. Edison wasn't chasing money. He was chasing mastery, and the money followed. Because wealth is not something you chase. It's something you attract by the person you become. You want to be rich? You want freedom? Then get clear on who you are, on what you want, on what you're willing to endure. Because clarity cuts through excuses like fire through paper. And until you have it, you'll stay stuck in circles, busy but not productive, loud but not powerful. You think it's just about working harder? It's about working harder on yourself than anything else. Napoleon Hill said it best. The man who does more than he is paid for will soon be paid for more than he does. But most people want the paycheck before they earn the proof. Discipline is the currency of success. It is the price you pay when no one is watching, when the alarm rings at 5 a.m. and your body screams no, when you're broke, tired, uncertain, and you still show up. Not for applause, not for likes, but because the future version of you is counting on it. And make no mistake, you are either training your mind to win or programming it to settle. There is a voice inside you, one that whispers in the quiet moments. That tells you that you're meant for more, that you're capable of building something that matters, that you're not like everyone else. But you drown it out with doubt, with laziness, with fear disguised as logic, with the opinions of people who've never built anything real. And every time you do, you bury your potential 1 inch deeper in the grave of mediocrity. So let me be the one to remind you. That voice inside you, that vision, it's not an accident. It's your soul remembering who you were before the world taught you to be small. You want wealth? Then start acting like it's yours. Not by pretending, but by building the habits, the mindset, the work ethic, and the faith of someone who refuses to lose. It starts with belief, then it moves to clarity, then it demands action. Messy, imperfect, relentless action. But there's one more thing. The one thing that separates those who almost make it from those who break through. It's resilience, the thing no one claps for. The thing that doesn't look sexy on social media, but it's the cornerstone of every fortune ever built, every empire, every movement, every miracle. Resilience is the art of staying in the fight long after the crowd has gone home. When the launch fails, when the client says no, when the bank account dips below zero and self-doubt screams in your ear, resilience is what pulls you out of the darkness when motivation is nowhere to be found. This is the price, the uncomfortable, undeniable price of wealth. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Oprah was fired from her job and told she was unfit for television. These are not exceptions. They are examples. Proof that greatness is not given. It is earned. In the trenches, in silence, in pain. And what about you? What story are you writing with your life? What's the excuse you keep rehearsing? What pain are you choosing to let define you instead of build you? You want to be rich? Then you need to stop chasing shortcuts and start forging character. Because the money, the impact, the freedom, it doesn't come to the person who starts. It comes to the person who refuses to stop. Now let's talk about purpose, because all the money in the world means nothing without direction. Purpose is what separates the successful from the truly fulfilled. Purpose wakes you up before the alarm. It's what gives your pain a meaning. It's what keeps you from self-destructing when the world doesn't understand your vision. You are not here to clock in, pay bills, and die. You are here to build, to evolve, to create something that outlives you. But you won't tap into that until you stop asking, what do I get? And start asking, what do I give? Purpose-driven people don't just make money, they make history. Carnegie didn't build steel just to get rich. He built it because he saw what was possible when men came together with a vision bigger than themselves. He built because he knew impact outlasts income. And in doing so, he became one of the richest men the world has ever seen. Your bank account will grow to the extent your purpose expands. Your success will rise in direct proportion to the size of the problem you're willing to solve. But you'll never solve anything meaningful if you keep playing small. And here's the truth most won't tell you. There's no secret. There's no hack, no algorithm, no magical manifestation trick that will replace the work you must do inside yourself. You want wealth? Then stop talking like someone who wants it, and start walking like someone who already owns it. That means mastering your morning. That means protecting your energy like it's gold. That means saying no to anything that doesn't align with where you're going, even if it's familiar, especially if it's comfortable. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards proof, and the proof is in the discipline. There is a power that comes when you stop living like a consumer and start living like a creator. When you stop reacting to life and start shaping it. When you stop outsourcing your future to luck and start building it with your own two hands. And to build it, you need faith. Not blind faith, but the kind of faith that burns inside of people like Edison, Lincoln, or Hill. The kind that says, I don't know how it's going to happen. I just know it's already mine. You've got to see the vision when nobody else does. Speak the vision when others call you crazy. Hold the vision when the storm hits and everything seems to fall apart. Because wealth doesn't begin in your wallet. It begins in your words. What you declare, you move toward. What you believe, you begin to magnetize. But only if your actions match your declarations. So what now? You've been given the tools. You've been shown the path, but information without implementation is just another form of procrastination. The world is full of people who know what to do, but die with potential still locked inside of them. You will never be rich until you master this. Your mind, your beliefs, your habits, your emotions. You must master the resistance. You must master the silence. You must master the discipline when it's cold, dark, and no one's cheering. Because that's the truth about wealth. It doesn't come to the loudest voice. It comes to the most aligned. You were not born to survive. You were born to rise, to build, to lead. But none of that will happen until you master yourself. And when you do, the gates of abundance, real, lasting, soul-aligned abundance, will open for you. Because wealth was never outside of you. It was always waiting for you to become the person strong enough to hold it. And now we reach the edge of the truth. The line that separates the dreamers from the doers. The curious from the committed. The ones who almost make it from the ones who become unforgettable. You've heard the words. You've felt the pull. But none of this matters unless it lights a fire so fierce in your soul that you cannot go back to who you were before. Because who you were is the price you pay for who you're becoming. Understand this. Every moment is a vote for discipline or delay, purpose or comfort, conviction or convenience, excellence or excuses. You either master your mind or it masters you. You either build your dream or you build someone else's. There is no neutral, no pause, no someday. You are rising or decaying, right now in this second. The wealthy know this. They live by this, not just in their routines or habits, but in their identity. They don't try to succeed. They've already become success. They don't ask, will it work? They declare, I will make it work. That's the difference. That's the mastery. Not over money, but over self. Because the war is never outside of you. It's not your competition. It's not your lack of resources. It's not your childhood. It's not the economy. It's the war within. And until you win that war, you'll never touch the wealth that was written in your name from the beginning. But when you do, when you step into the ring of your own greatness and refuse to back down, everything changes. You speak differently. You move with clarity. You command respect without ever needing to beg for it. And the world begins to respond to the new frequency you carry. Because you become rare, not because of your money, but because of your mindset, your discipline, your vision, your power to choose who you are every single day, no matter the pain, no matter the pressure. You will never be rich until you master this, until you master you. But when you do, riches come, in spirit, in strength, in love, in impact, and yes, in wealth. Because the money is never the goal. It's just the echo of the person you became to earn it. Now stand up, look in the mirror, and decide who you are. Not someday, not later. Now, because the life you're dreaming of is already yours. It's just waiting for you to rise and claim it.